To see that new billboard on the buses is shocking, as I've just seen like a memory from what appears only to be from yesterday come straight back when it had Scream 5 there. Yeah, it just seems like yesterday that the billboard on the side of the buses had for Scream 5. And noticed the billboard for Scream 6 about a week ago. I think they've come too quick. 6 has come too quick on the heels of 5, far too quick. It's a cash grab, in my opinion. It feels like it's just simply it is simply a cash grab sequel. I saw 5, I saw 4 in the cinema, I saw 5 in the cinema. I'm not going to see 6 in the cinema, and that's simply because the main character, the titular character, isn't in it. How shocking this part 6 came on the heels of 5. Now, I looked on the internet and part 2 came equally as quick after part 1, so that ends my argument there. But with Sydney not being in 6 like she was in 2, that sort of like gives my argument a point, if you will. What I will say is I thought part 4 was spot on. I thought the character, the blonde police officer, I think she was probably the only questionable character in that. I think her dizziness was possibly a little bit too cartoonish, but other than that, I think part 4 was solid. I thought the ending was great to that. The line where she says about no one can meet up to the original. That's not a quote, but I think that was great. I think, and overall it worked as a whole, completely did. I think part 5 worked, apart from the end where people were still walking around with severe knife wounds to their persons. We had the Asian character girl, the young one. She was walking around with a band-aid around her stomach, and Sydney's character was walking around with a band-aid on her, as if they'd simply caught a scratch in the kitchen cutting up spuds. I think that was the only flaw with part 5. Otherwise, part 5 worked. I think part 4 never had that flaw. Well, I can't remember having that flaw. I think part 5 certainly. That was the only problem with part 5. Were if it didn't have that in it, if those 2 girls were simply on the floor getting their wounds tended, and voila, as in real life it would have been the case, then I think part 5 would have been absolutely all round solid. You go to the cinema expecting it to be a surreal experience anyway, so you do expect to get surreal moments in these movies. They're going to be completely unbelievable on the whole anyway, but I think when it comes to something being that far removed from reality, I think they do still stand out in these movies. Like Laurie's character in H18, I think that was for real, that she was knackered in bed in the sequel to H18, like it was in the original sequel back in the late 70s to the, was it 81? The sequel to the 78 original. She was knackered on her back, all stitched up. When things like that are so far removed from reality, It does stand out, and you think to yourself, what a shame. I want to stand up and I want to applaud how well Part 5 was. Other than that, and how 6 is coming just far too quickly on the heels of Part 5, just far too quickly. Now, will it work or not without Sydney? What I will say is, if you've been watching the Scream movie since the start, when Courtney Cox's character got some face work done, was it for Part 3? I think she became the person who you'd giggle at when you were watching the movies, Part 3 and then Part 4. She was the least credible out of the original bunch because of said face wear. She looked like she'd had a face work done, and she didn't look like Courtney Cox anymore. And of all the characters from the original bunch to be coming through to the current lineup, is that same character played by Courtney Cox, the one who I personally would have preferred not to have seen come through. Now, anyone watching this agree with me or have any views on that? Sydney, yeah, obviously Sydney, I mean, we're all getting older. Yeah, maybe she shouldn't have come back for Part 5. Maybe she shouldn't have come back. Maybe she just shouldn't have come back, and maybe she shouldn't have. But she did play alright. Her character did play well in that movie. Like I say, apart from the end, it just let the whole movie down. Will it work with her not being in 6? Will it work? How can it work as a Scream movie without Sidney Prescott? With the joke from the original bunch, right, Courtney Cox's character in it, I think cheapens the whole. It pisses the whole franchise up the wall having Courtney Cox's face job come through from the original bunch. I appreciate the way we had to get rid of Dewey. Out of them all, if one was to go, it would be Dewey. I mean, how can you keep coming back? I mean, the fact of Top Gun's Maverick, that was ridiculous. The way Tom Cruise's character was still in his original shoes from 1986. A man moves on in life. A woman maybe not so in regards to that side of things. A woman maybe not. She might be more likely to stay in administration work, domestic work, generally. So perhaps it's more plausible for a woman to come through. So yeah, I guess why Dewey's character possibly was the one from the original bunch who had to go, and it was so well executed in Part 5. It really worked. It was just fantastic. It did really work, Part 5. Apart from the ending, like I say, it let the whole thing down. I think these movies are definitely to be watched in the theatre, in the cinema. They are specifically designed, movies are specifically designed to see with other people, to share the emotions in a communal ambiance with other people. They are supposed to be watched communally with other people, as a shared experience with other people. Like, say if I bought the Blu-ray of Dog and watched that at home, I wouldn't get the same buzz from it as I did when I watched it in the cinema. I thought that movie was fantastic. I'm not going to go off boil here. I'm going to stay with the Scream. I think it wouldn't work, Dog, if I watched it at home. If I bought the Blu-ray, I just wouldn't get the same buzz from it. Will it work? Part 6 work without Sidney Prescott? Having the Joker of the pack, Courtney Cox, coming through. her face job coming through, of all of them from the original bunch coming through. I can't see myself, I don't think I'm going to go and see it. I can't see myself putting my hand in my wallet and pay money to watch a movie with Courtney Cox's face job from the 80s in it, well, 90s wasn't it, in it, without Dewey, without Sydney. I can't see myself doing it. Right, the character of Kirby, right, she will have to mention her experience of Ghostface earlier in her life, surely. She will have to mention that. She can't just turn up as a pretty face to give advice to the girls who are arriving, which that way looks it's going to be like discussing, possibly it'll be an anniversary of the murders, perhaps as a guest on Cox's show, discussing her experiences. I'd like to think she mentions more about the loss of her then partner, how she felt possibly being betrayed by him, how Cox's character is not going to mention Sydney, how between her and Kirby, how the pair of them are not going to mention Sydney, and for that to work, I don't know how that's going to happen. I don't know how that's going to be pulled off. Yeah, her character was written as a tragic character. Her demise was ultimately a tragic demise. I definitely had the feeling that Kirby died in that. I appreciated the way her character was written in that, and yeah, and to me, her character, she did die when she went through his patio doors to rescue her partner at the time. Now, we get on to retconning. I don't believe in retconning in movies because it makes a mockery of the viewer. I'm yet to be impressed by any form of retconning in movies. How a character is handled in this new movie, I think, will be interesting. Yeah, in a sense, it does undermine Wes Craven and the screenwriters for Part 4 and the overall arc for her character in Part 4, in her character being retconned for Part 6. It does generally, overall, undermine it. Regardless of how well her character will be written in Part 6. Unless they pull a rabbit out of the hat and really write her well for Part 6, then I don't think I'll be forgiving. I am interested to see how Kirby will be written. Without Sydney, I don't think I'll be going to see it. But I might. But I think that will be seen. That will be seen, proof in the pudding, on the day if I do decide to pop in or not. I think Part 4 was really a good movie. I think all the characters were well written in that. I was really happy with Part 4. Yeah, mixed feelings on Part 6. I'll get back if I go to see it. Maybe she should have. Hiya. Maybe she shouldn't.
One time to the one time.